There and taps his hands and you're just sitting there and you know, sit there and rock back and forth in the chair and in a big old another murderer or whatever he is convicted. Up to this point of a case, not in handcuffs, not in shackles, one or the other or both, and in orange.
Hello everybody, Excited Utterance here. My name's Ella. Good to see you all. Hi, I'm seeing some people that I've been talking to on different platforms. It's good to have you here, and thank you for the raid, Dali. Some people have come over from Dali. They've also come over from Catnot Williams earlier as well. But yeah, I'm seeing some people coming from different places where I've been talking throughout the weeks leading up to this, including yourself, Heather. I'm here. I better hear your theory that you mentioned on X. Haha, you're gonna hold me to that. Thank you, Heather, for being here. Nice to see you. Hi, Bob Masavo. Lovely to see you. Hey, Young. He gotta have some, what? Gotta have some, don't you think? What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about kiosk girls. You're talking about fans. Well, we are going to talk about the fans of Bryan Kohberger, but I don't know if he has any. I don't know if he has any chicks that are calling him on the phone. No jail calls of Bryan Kohberger have ever come out, and I don't know if there are any. I think there are probably girls sending him messages and things like that, but I don't think he's silly enough to have girls sort of that he's calling and responding to, kind of like Wade Wilson. I don't think that's what's going on with Bryan Kohberger. I think he's way smarter than that. Way smarter than that. Is Hella still powdering her nose? Sure. Not in that way. Not in a Ricada way. Okay. So, free Bryan. Mapka, I've got to agree. Free Bryan. Oops, I'm just going to fix that wavy thing up. Woo! There we go. I've got one of those things that dims the light, and it's giving a wave now, and I don't like it. It's giving a little wave. See that? I don't like it. I'll try and fix it for you. Woo. It's like it's on fire. Burp, burp. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it, guys. I'm just going to put it back to its regular setting. So I got this on Amazon. It's one of those things that, like, you use it to dim, but then it just went and created like a wavy effect, and I don't like it. So I'm just going to plug it back into its normal way of being, its usual USB output. It's going to be bright for a second. I'm sorry. Just a minute. Oh, really bright. Got my head in front of it, like an eclipse. And then I'm going to go back to... Come on. Soften. Someone was telling me that there's like a, what do you call it? A reducer or something you can get for it. So the thing I bought on Amazon didn't really help that much. It just did the wavy thing, which is annoying. Anyway, back to the topic. I'll put my head in front of it. Make it a little bit less bright for you guys. All right. So, God, that's annoying. Or I could just turn it off. Nah. What do you think? Is it too bright? Is it too annoying? Okay. Hi, Diane. How are you? He gets vegan meals. Yes, that's what I put up in the pinned comment up there, that he gets vegan meals. He gets vegan meals and he gets to wear suits. And maybe if I offset this with light up here, that'll be better. Yeah, and the Gonclaves family are very upset about that. Let's try and fix that light there. The Gonclaves family are very upset about that. That really drives them nuts. I'm going to turn this off. There we go. It's better. Not as pretty, but it'll work. See, you get this instead. Let's fix this up. Hello, Erica. Good to see you. Because they realize they released them years later. If you're thinking about that idiot Wade Wilson, it took turns after his court appearance. Yeah. Well, a lot of people just came from a different stream where there were jail calls from Wade Wilson between him and his girlfriends, let's say. Now, there's no comparison between BK and Wade Wilson. Wade Wilson, he did it, and he admits to doing it. He's not the most friendly character, let's say. I believe wholeheartedly that BK did not do this. They've got the wrong guy. Why I think that is because a few reasons. Firstly, I think that his phone was not there. I think that Cya knows that his phone was not there. And around the time when Cya came onto the case, that's exactly the time when Ann Taylor and Eliza both came out in court and said, we believe wholeheartedly that our client is not just not guilty, innocent. And it's a big deal to come out in court and say that. They're putting their reputation on the line. So I think the reason they decided that they knew that and they were willing to say that is because Cya showed them without a shadow of a doubt that that's where his phone was. It was 40 miles to the west at that time. So up until then, I think they were pretty sure. But then he showed them hard evidence that was exculpatory and showed that the phone was somewhere else. And the entire state's case depended on the phone being with the car. And they had very little to show that it was his car anyway. The phone had to be with the car. So it wasn't just the phone. It was the phone and the car. At that point, it was around March, April this year. The Eliza and both said flat out in court, put their reputations on the line and said, he's innocent. Our client, he's innocent. They know it. Cya knows it. He's willing to go up in court and testify to that. First time ever for the defense. They think he's innocent. As far as I'm concerned, that's enough for me to go, oh, okay, he's going to be exonerated. They use the wording exonerated in the alibi document. That's a big word to use. That's a really, really big word to use. So in my mind, they have the wrong guy. They absolutely have the wrong guy. And too many other weird things have happened. Hello, Max. What's today about? It's about Cya LATAH. And do you like that? Do you like the name of my stream? Do you like the name of my stream? I thought it was kind of funny. I was surprised no one else has done Cya LATAH yet. You're watching in my Mitsubishi, are you? Hey, Phil. Okay. I sent him a pair of my boxes and a love letter. Did you, Mavka? Okay, that's nice. I'm sure he appreciated that. He has Brian's girls who are sending him dolls. Look, and that's cool. I think it's nice that people are supporting him in whatever way they can to cheer him up. I just don't think that he would be responding and encouraging it in such a way that it could make him look bad. I think and her team would be telling him to keep your mouth shut, and that's what he's done all along. Yeah, he is a vegan. He needs that kiosk cash. And there's reasons why he's a vegan. Apparently, it's because of his visual snow syndrome. We don't know for sure, though. That could not be right. Don't know, but it's for his physical health, apparently. Now, I'm going to get into a few things today. The first thing I want to talk about, obviously, is the change of venue and what impact that has. Heather, I'm going to get to my theory in a minute, but I have to go through a few things first. I'm sorry, I'm not going to keep you waiting too long on this one. But I have to back up what I'm going to put forward. Okay. Is Bryan queer? Not that I know of. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe, but I don't think so. Yes, he does get vegan meals. Okay, so what I find really interesting about the change of venue ruling by Judge and his use of it to recuse himself, basically. And he has recused himself. Do not think for a second that he hasn't recused himself. He has. He's taken this opportunity to leave the case, right? To leave the trial. He, without a shadow of a doubt, he chose it. His wording, his choice of wording is very, very clear. Some people have been like, oh, what's this? Some people have been like, oh, no, he's still leaving it open. No, he's not leaving it open. Look for flicker-free LED dimmer. I will put a little star next to that. Thank you for that very much, Bob. Okay. And hello, Ghost. How are you? Hello, Laura, my friend from Tasmania. Oh, you're sick? That's no good. Okay, so I'll just show you something. And to clear it up for anyone who hasn't caught up on this already, and I know there's been a few streamers and a few people on X who have cleared this up, but I am going to share this with you now to make it 100% crystal clear if you're not up with this. Okay, so here's his order. If we go to the very end of it, or is it the end? It might be. Maybe it's page 10 or so. If we go to hang on, conclusion and order. So if we go to the part that says conclusion and order, this part here. Okay, so he says here, conclusion and order, Kohberger's motion to change venue is granted pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 21A and 21B, consistent with the language of Idaho Criminal 21CB, and he's chosen B there. So he's gone consistent with the language of Idaho Criminal Rule 21B. So that's really important, this part here. This court orders a transfer of venue without specifying the new place of venue and refers the case to the administrative director of the courts for assignment by the Supreme Court to a court of proper venue in another judicial district and the assignment of a specific judge to preside in the criminal proceeding, right? So whilst that sounds a little bit ambiguous, it's not. The reason why it's not is because of this, and I thank you to the people who have provided screenshots because I can't actually get to these Idaho criminal rules. I am geo-blocked out being in Australia. I know, it's annoying, but this is actually from Sleuthy Goosey on Twitter. She's gone and gotten out Idaho criminal rule, what's it called? 21C2B. And this is Idaho Criminal Rules 21C2B. And it says this: if the original judge does not desire, there's A, but I'll go to B. B. If the original judge does not desire to continue the assignment of the case, the judge must enter an order transferring the case without specifying the new place of venue. That's what he's done. He's not specified the new place of venue. He's left it up to the Supreme Court. And then refer the case to the administrative director of the courts for assignment by the Supreme Court to a court of proper venue in another judicial district, and assignment of a specific judge to preside in the criminal proceeding. So he's gone, the original judge does not desire to continue the assignment over the case. So that's Judge going, I don't desire to continue the assignment over the case. So that leaves us going, hey, why? Why, Judge? Why don't you desire to continue over this case? And that's what I wanted to talk with you guys about. Why do you think Judge doesn't desire to continue over this case? Let's consider that for a second. I have my own thoughts on that. I'm interested in your thoughts on that, chat. Go ahead and tell me whilst I give you a couple of my thoughts. And also, I'm going to bring up a discussion that's happening already over on the Reddits. And I don't mind a couple of these Reddit groups. People bash Reddit and they go, oh, it's just, I guess, the cesspit of social media. A lot of the subs on Reddit are cesspit of social media. I'll give you that. There's a couple of them, though, that aren't too bad. This one here, what should a judge do if they realize the case is falling apart? Well, I've been saying for a long time that this case is falling apart. It's clearly falling apart. The prosecution and their PCA has been falling apart. Everything that they've put forward in that PCA, piece by piece, they've had to retract, right? So they've had to go back on so many things in that PCA and say, actually, you know what? We didn't really mean that. Actually, you know what? The PCA is irrelevant. They said that. They actually said that in one of their documents. They said the probable cause affidavit is irrelevant. They used those words, right? Yet, the probable cause affidavit was the thing that they told everyone to spread far and wide. That is the thing they used for the grand jury indictment, right? So, what should a judge do if they realize a case is falling apart? Well, I'll just read you this whilst I wait for a couple of people to respond here. This case appears to be held together by the initial accusations, even though most appear to be unfounded. I know it's not unusual for the state to withhold everything until the last minute, but what if it becomes increasingly obvious that there's not enough to charge the accused, let alone convict? JJJ refused the motion to overturn the grand jury indictment. But what can the new judge do if they look through the evidence and think, oh my God, how do I run this trial without embarrassing the entire judicial system? Can the new judge overturn JJJ's decision and order a preliminary hearing? Yes, they can. If the new judge were to look at everything and go, I don't agree with that decision to overrule the defense's motion to overturn the grand jury indictment. They could say, look, there needs to be some sort of evidentiary hearing, new preliminary hearing. I don't think a preliminary hearing, an evidentiary hearing. I want to know more. I don't know if it depends on the judge. it really does depend on the judge, doesn't it? But I feel like I think there's going to be more that's going to happen in between. First, I want to ask you guys, what do you think? Mavka, JJJ is a busy dude. I can understand. He's the lead judge in that court. And also, if people are watching later, pop it into the comments. I would really like to know, what do you think about why the judge is actually, he's stepping away. He's making this decision right now. Is it because he thinks that this case is falling apart? He knows it's a loser. He knows that this is not going to lead to a prosecution of Bryan Kohberger, and he's going to have to live in that area as the judge who allowed this to continue and allowed this man to walk. People are going to hate him. All right? So has he been seeing this coming for a long time? Has he been knowing for quite a while now, actually, that this can't lead to a conviction? And he's going to have to live with that. And he wants out. And he's been thinking all along, you know what? When it comes to the change of venue, I'm going to step out. Right? I was going to suggest that maybe Judge's decision may have been influenced by electability factors. However, checking his 2014 and 2022 elections, he ran unopposed, so nix for that idea. Don't know. I think he's too busy to see it through the change of venue. Now, there's that too, right? It could be a convenience factor, because for him, he would have to uproot his life for 3 months as well. And people do keep talking about the convenience factor and the fact that it's, for them, I mean, it's not small. It's really having to move for 3 months. So maybe he just doesn't want to do that. Maybe he just doesn't care about the high profile nature of this thing and the fact that, like, he could be the next Judge Newman, right? Maybe that's just not him. And you know what? Judges shouldn't be looking for being high profile, being known. We shouldn't really know who judges are. At the end of trial, it's not about that. It's not about them having some name for themselves. 3 months is a big deal. Maybe he just doesn't want that. He wants to stay in his home and continue doing his job. So yeah, he's busy. That's true. With Santa being investigated by the bar, him being buddy-buddy with JJ. Oh, now Heather, I was coming to this. JJ plus all the other government organizations are not in compliance with Brady, Public Info Acts, and open government initiatives by Justice Department. Now, see, things are getting interesting. Okay, so Heather coming in with the facts. All right. Even the state attorney general's office isn't in compliance with all of these things. I should bring up your tweet. I should bring up your tweet. Give me a minute to do that, because I want to come to that. Yes, Santa is being investigated by the bar for bias in 23rd of the 12th case of abuse he refused to prosecute. Yep, absolutely. Okay, so this is getting interesting. Now we're going to start to talk about some of the stuff. This is getting to my theory. All right, so this is getting to my theory. Heather, would you happen to be able to come on stream at all? Do you have a microphone and things? You would be welcome to come on and chat if you'd like. No pressure whatsoever, and you don't have to hurry. You can come on whenever you feel like it, but you'd be very welcome. You'd be very welcome to chat if you'd like. But I would like to bring up your tweet, actually, and I'm giving you the opportunity to come on and talk along with it if you would like, but no pressure at all. But for now, I'll continue with what I was talking about, and I'll let you respond in your own time. Okay. these are great questions, and I've been wondering the same myself. I hope someone with a law background can answer some of these. I imagine that in a normal case, it would be more savory to have the case tossed and everybody moves on. Hey, wouldn't that be nice? Oh, you're going to come on? Heather! Yeah. Oh my god, this is great! This is great! Yay! Cool, cool, cool. Okay, I'm going to send you a link on Twitter. Hang on a minute. I'm excited. Heather has some interesting information, guys. This is breaking news. This is breaking news. Hang on a minute. I am just going to... Give me 2 seconds to invite her. She is. Yep. And I'm just going to send her a message. Cool. All right, Heather, your link is in your Twitter DMs. You're welcome whenever you like. If you don't, you can show your face. You don't have to. It's absolutely fine. That's completely fine, love. No problem. It's wonderful to have you able to join. In fact, I have your tweets here ready to go as well. Alrighty. Now, I find the timing, you could come on and make grunting noises. I find the timing of this change of venue to be so interesting. That's okay. You can hide your face. It's all right. Sometimes I feel like hiding my face, but then I'm like, I've come on so many times. It's like that people would be like, "Why is Hella hiding her face today? What's going on? Has she got a giant pimple?" Anyway, so the timing of this change of venue, not so much the change of venue, but his recusal, because honestly, Judge's recusal is the biggest red flag to me. I'm not that surprised at the change of venue. There was a great argument for the change of venue. But his recusal is so interesting to me because I see so many other weird things going on. And it makes me wonder if this whole case is about to fall over. And that's a great thing for Bryan Kohberger. But I think some other people are about to go down as well. And I've been calling this for a while. I don't think this is going to trial. When I say I never thought it was going to go to trial, I called it about 6 months ago that this wasn't going to go to trial. When the alibi came out and Cy Ray came on, I called it that this wasn't going to go to trial. Right? But what I didn't really see coming was that some heads were going to roll. And Heather's going to come in here now and she's going to show us what that means. Because when I saw Heather's tweet the other day about what she's going to show us, it tied up for me some of the loose ends. Just whilst we're waiting for Heather, I'm going to show you something else. And I want to, just for a second, I know anyone who has access, isn't it? Anyone who has access to the portal here, the Idaho Judicial Branch cases of interest. So this is just all the documents, and anyone can have access to this. It's just a link. If you go through and you look at all of these documents, you'll see over and over and over again all of the defense's motions to, where are we, Idaho versus Bryan C Kohberger, all of these defense's motions to compel or to request discovery, right? So we have here, it starts around, early 2023. So, defendant's third motion to compel discovery. Defendant's motion, hang on. If we go, not just the motion for discovery, let's just go for a motion for, I'll just go. There's so many of them here, it's so hard to work out what the right wording is to, here we go. That's the state's response to defendant's third motion to compel, but let's just go for, say, supplemental. Supplemental response to defendant's second motion to compel. There are just supplemental requests, like fifth supplemental request, for example. There are so many of these. If we go in here, and I'll go share this tab instead. So if we look in here, please take notice that the undersigned pursuant Rule 16 of Idaho Criminal Rules 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, and 14th Amendments to the Constitution. This is back July 12, 2023. This is one of maybe 100 documents by Bryan C Kohberger where they're asking for discovery. So items that the state just doesn't hand over. And I'm not just talking about motions to compel. I'm talking about supplemental discovery requests, right? So there are 6 motions to compel, and then there's all these supplemental discovery requests as well. So there's tons and tons of documents in there. And every time Ann Taylor writes one of these, she always notes that it's pursuant to Rule 16 of Idaho Criminal Rule of Idaho Criminal Rule and the 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, and 14th Amendments of the Constitution, right? So she's very clear about what is being referenced in regard to his rights. And she's done it over and over and over again. And then if we go back and look here, look how many of them there are. This is not all, but look how many times she has documented that the state has been requested to come forth with this information, and those are his rights for them to come forth with that information, right? So therefore, if they don't come forth with that information, his rights are being violated. And it's not just the 6th Amendment right, it's not just the 4th Amendment right. Those are all of his rights. And there's also the Idaho Criminal Rule that shows that pursuant to the Idaho laws as well, they're in breach of those too. Now, the final discovery deadline passed the other day. I haven't seen anything entered in this list here since then. So what's happened? Do you think that the state has just magically handed everything over? I don't think so. We're talking about a lot of information that was outstanding. Now, my question is, if the state has been withholding all of this information, as Ann Taylor has said, what do you think that is? If you think about, the Alec Baldwin case, for example, right? There was one bit of information that didn't get handed over, and then they got to trial, and what happened with that one piece of information? What happened with that one piece of information? It's pretty simple. What do you think? Diane, what do you think? What happened with that one piece of information that didn't get handed over to the defense, and then they went to trial? Well, he had some very good lawyers, and Taylor's a very good lawyer. That one piece of information caused there to be a motion to dismiss with prejudice, right? Well, just a motion to dismiss, right? Because of what's called a Brady violation, right? So there was a Brady violation, and the judge looked at that and went, you know what? That was Who knows whether that was exculpatory information or not? However, that's not your place, prosecutors. That's not your place to decide whether or not that's exculpatory information. The Brady rule goes that you need to hand it over anyway. Now, here is Ann Taylor, time after time after time after time, putting in writing and saying in court on the record, we've asked you for this state, where is it? Right? And Judge has been pretty lax about it, really. And he knows it. He knows it. Diane, that is what Heather's about to come on and talk about. That's what she's about to come on and talk about. Did you see the list of Idaho and Moscow Brady violations? Yeah, that's what Heather's about to come on. That's why I just invited her on just now. Right, because I was going to do the stream all on my own, and then Heather's talking about that in chat, and I'm like, I need to have her on. I need to have her on. What's this, David? Political ads are all the rage on EU's channel. What are you talking about? Yes, I did. I kicked you. Yeah. So this is the thing. Ann Taylor has documented this constitutes misconduct. Tell me if I'm wrong, right? David, you can tell me if I'm wrong. You're a lawyer. Tell me if I'm wrong, right? But if we have all of this documentation of the state withholding evidence over a period of 18 months now, 2 years, this is documented over and over and over again. They've asked, they've put it on the record, and they've said, we want the cast information, we want the IgG information, and they've been very clear. I just wasn't clear, but they've been very clear about exactly what they want, and it has not been handed over. The discovery deadline's now gone, right? It's now gone. A new judge is about to come in, and I wonder why that judge just decided to leave, right? I wonder why that judge just decided to leave. I reckon he decided to leave because he knew that she has been establishing a pattern of evidence of misconduct on behalf of the state. And I reckon that she is about to make complaints. And then there's going to be a motion to dismiss. Here we have Heather. Hello.
Hey.
Hey, can I hear you? Speak. We might just have to work on your audio for a second. Just a sec. Let me see.
Ooh,
Can you talk? I can kind of hear you. Talk again.
Okay.
Try again.
Issues over here. Let me try to plug this in somewhere different. Just a second.
Yeah, plug it somewhere different. That doesn't sound dirty.
I'm having issues my kids got on my computer.
Oh, your kids got on your computer. That always sucks. All right. I'm just going to move things around a little bit. Okay. Just while we sort that out. Yeah, David, it does. It looks bad for the state. It looks really bad for the state. I mean, I was talking to another lawyer the other day, a certain blogger, and I just checked with the particular lawyer involved because I wasn't sure whether or not, not being a lawyer or not being even an American, I wasn't sure whether or not the Brady rules, Giglio Brady rules, matter prior to trial, whether they're enforceable prior to trial. I had heard on the grapevine, and I mean rumors are around, that a jury needs to have been sworn for a motion for Brady to be put forward. But that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. No. And please, David is Lego Law, Life and Libations. He's a Michigan lawyer, a good friend of ours. And David, you're welcome to pop on if you want, if you've got time. I believe, and this is what another lawyer told me, and that is that Brady matters always. Giglio is more to do with witness testimony and things like that. So this would be Brady. This would be withholding of actual discovery. So evidence matters. Evidence as in discovery, files, things like that. So, and yeah, it matters prior to trial. If it's happening prior to trial, that's a Brady violation can happen prior to trial, and a motion can be put forth for that under those grounds prior to trial. There you go. The Brady rules can be invoked pre-trial with a motion in limine. Yep, there you go. There you go. Thank you. Dali, Gigolo has to do... Yeah, that's Gigolo. See, this is why I dumped you. Yeah, it is annoying. You can't just look it up yourself. I know. It's really tricky. All right. Can I hear you now? Oh, your mic's not connected. Heather's mic is not connected just yet. We'll just give her a second. Okay. So that was my big theory, and I wanted to now I'll bring this up on the screen. This is Heather's tweet that got me really sort of a bit worked up about the whole thing. So when I saw Heather's tweet, I was like, what is going on? This really goes to my theory. You're not decent, David? That's fine. Hello? Hey.
Hey, can y'all hear me now?
Yay! How's it
Still
going?
no, huh? Hey.
I can hear you.
Okay,
How's it
good. My kids did something to my computer and it took me a minute to figure it out, but I got it now.
I get it. I understand. It happens. It happens to me all the time. Well, not on this computer, but it happened the other night. I tried to do a stream with my daughter, and it was like half an hour later, wasn't happening. Turned it off. Um, anyway, nice to have you, Heather. Thank you for being here. And
Well,
when I
thank you
saw
for
what you were
having
saying,
me.
I was like, I need to have you on stream. You discovered this information, and I'm like, it totally goes to what I've been thinking. And also, just so you know, I don't know if you were just listening, but we have a lawyer in chat, Lego Law, Life and
Good.
Libation. That's David. He's from Michigan, and he actually confirmed what I was just saying, and that is that the Brady rule can be invoked pre-trial with a motion in limine. So, you know how I was saying to you in our chat the other day that I've been speaking to a lawyer. That was a different lawyer, and so that's two lawyers now who have confirmed the same thing, that you do not need to be at trial. A jury does not have to have been sworn. If there is a Brady violation, if the defense believes that there's a Brady violation, absolutely, this can be brought up. So now, would you like to explain for a second what you have discovered?
Well, just from the organization, well, first, I didn't even realize that it was other than police that got put on the Brady list. But once I started going through things, I started seeing that the actual Attorney General's office was on the Brady list, that let's see, the prosecutor's office is on the Brady list. And once I started seeing all these organizations, I started looking into them, and I see MPD, I see ISP, I see everybody mentioned, and no police officers. So evidently, the Brady is the nationwide platform of information where they have to, notify it. So it's information to the public, and they've posted nothing. The only thing that I was actually able to find once I started looking through, for specific people was for the prosecutor. And it's the prosecutor who hasn't, that entire office, who hasn't disclosed like all those things. Let me pull that list up. You have the list up. They're in
I have
violation.
I can't actually get to it because I'm geo blocked. So
Okay, I'm pulling
I
it up real quick.
okay,
All the
that's cool.
things
But
that
I
they
can
are
get
in
to your
violation of,
screenshots.
I
I've got
have it right here
this.
too. Ah, here we go. I've got it now. I'm pulling it
Yeah.
back up. I don't even know how Idaho is functioning right now with being in non-compliance with all the things that they're not compliant with. I mean, it's not just the Brady list. The Brady list just happens to be what brought me to all this. Let me get back to it. But yes, here we go. It's the Idaho Brady list includes all known issues, of course, of police misconduct, but Idaho, and more specifically, I verified the prosecutor's office, the state attorney general's office, and I believe ISP and for sure MPD is in violation of course, the Supreme Court of the U.S. SCOTUS Brady Doctrine, the U.S. Freedom of Information Act, the Idaho Public Records Act, which is Idaho Code 74-101, the Open Government Act, the Open Government Initiative, and the Open Government Directives issued by the U.S. Department of Justice. So I wouldn't, that just blew my mind because that's a lot to be not compliant with.
So okay. I just want to ask David in chat. David, do you know of this Brady list? And because I can't get to the website, I am geo blocked. I was just going to ask Dali. Dali, are you free at all? Are you able to pop in and help me to bring up the whole website on stream? That would be super helpful. Because
It's
I'd really like to look through it.
it's Giglio. Let me get back to it.
I've got I
Dot
have the link to it.
bradylist.com.
Yeah, yeah, because you put it into your Twitter post. So I was trying to link out to it, and I'm geo blocked, unfortunately. But if he's not available, that's okay. Oh, you'll be here. Oh, thank you, thank you. Sweet. So there's my co-host. He's awesome. I was going to give him the day off. Helenese Dali, remember this forever. Oh, I always need him. I was just going to give him the day off. Okay, so what's this? David says, there's a difference between not being compliant with Brady on other cases or in general and not being compliant with Brady in this case specific. That's fair. Only
Yeah,
matters if there's a
definitely.
violation in this case. That's fair.
Well, we
I
know there
understand.
is. We know there is one though.
Yeah, I mean, we're sure there is, but it hasn't been proven or it hasn't been put forth as a complaint yet. It's just, it's, I really need to
The
understand this.
prosecutor disclosed it, and I didn't know if it was the prosecutor disclosing possibly himself. I needed to go back and look at the date that they disclosed that, because honestly, I was always under the assumption that it had to do with the Brady disclosure had to do with the officer that was involved with the Moore case.
Oh, okay. So you know what
Moore
case
Drake
it was
case.
that caused this to happen?
The Moore Drake case that gosh, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Y'all are y'all familiar with the Dr. Moore, Dr. Drake case at all?
No, I'm not. I can look it up. So it's I. So you
Oh gosh.
know. So that's why they've ended up on this list.
Well, no, I figured that that was what they disclosed was what the state disclosed was the problem, but the disclosure that they made, I figured
Right.
that that was it. But once I started digging in and I saw that the possibly the prosecutor might have something to disclose as well, I still need to go back and check the date that they made the disclosure for the Giglio disclosure, Brady disclosure, excuse me, they made. I'll pull up
Okay.
the
So, oh,
documents.
hello, Dali. How's it going? Hey. All right. So, I just wanted to ask you if you wouldn't mind. I'll put a link in chat for you. If you wouldn't mind having a look up a website for me, that'd be awesome. And welcome on stream, Dali. This is Heather.
Thank you.
Heather, this is Salvador Dali.
Hi.
He is my co-host and
Very nice
a lovely
to meet you.
person generally.
Nice to meet you.
Sometimes. No, he's not.
Yeah, this stuff it doesn't say that it definitely doesn't say it's due to this case, but it says in general that Idaho is in violation of all this. Then you've got to actually go in and click on the different departments and see which department is in violation of each different thing. And I was surprised that the actual Attorney General's office was in violation of a lot of this stuff and the prosecutor's office. No, it doesn't necessarily mean this case, but to be in violation of all these things, not just a Brady violation, but all the other things that were named, that's a lot of covering up a lot of stuff. Whether it has to do with this case or not, that's a lot of stuff that's not being disclosed, and I don't even know. That's why we were trying to tag Andrea Burkhart and
Yes.
Mercy Wright to see if
yeah.
we could get their take on it, but I can't.
Okay.
I can't imagine it's being good being a prosecutor and
So
having all this.
Latah County Prosecuting Attorney, Latah County Sheriff's Office are both on this list as well. So yeah, there are currently 219 organizations listed on the Idaho Brady list, and there's 2 of them.
And there are some that you click on that don't actually have anything, but they're listed. I figured that out, but the majority of them, I mean, this lists a lot of things. I guess a lot of departments that have had things cleared off, and some of them don't have any when you click on the link. But the prosecuting office, it definitely does. I can't remember right offhand all the ones that definitely had the whole
Okay.
list.
And also, hang on, Moscow Police Department as well. Yep. There you go.
Yeah, I'm going there too again.
Awkward.
Awkward. So have you managed to get that website up there, Dali?
Yeah, I'm ready to whip it out.
Go for your life. That's cool.
Add to stage.
Okay, so Heather, so how did you find this?
Oh, me? I was
Yeah,
just decided.
So we got the
Go ahead.
website up. So how did you even come to find it? Like,
I was just wondering if there was any Brady information out there that I could find, and I just started digging into it one day, and I came
wow.
across the link for this, and it's for the entire United States. You just click on the state that you want to look at. See there, it's showing that the entire state of Idaho right there, but you've got to click on the different actual departments to see
Moscow.
what's in what.
Okay, so let's put this in practical terms. So what this means is that these people have a prior track record of withholding evidence, right?
And are still doing it because it's still there. Yes.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it will be taken off of that as soon as it's cleared up. But yes, they do. If you look into the Dr. Drake and Dr. Moore case, that's something that Lana on TNT has been covering. I can't even think of that officer. He was involved in this investigation. Tolson. And they basically lied. They had videotape, just exactly like this case is. Videotape that they had put together and lied on warrants, lied about what color the truck was when they got on warrants, kind of like how they said Bryan went home. And one document that we read, in another document, they said he took the roundabout way. But it's pretty much they did the same thing in that case. And this man had the coroner as his alibi witness. And they actually engaged in witness intimidation to the county coroner and got him to where he would not even testify as an alibi witness. it ended up going, I think the Idaho Supreme Court ended up having to dismiss the case because they actually coerced the confession out of him. They said that he was jealous because the other chiropractor was stealing patients from him, and he had a gas leak in his own office, and they said that that was him being afraid, him trying to kill himself because he was afraid, like he was feeling so badly about killing this doctor. That was evidence of his guilt. I mean,
Fantastic.
it's amazing the lengths that they went to in that case. And now there's a lawsuit going on, and that's why everybody's finding out about it after the Supreme Court dismissed it in the
Wow.
state. So, yeah, that was
Now,
Tulsa, and yeah, there's a history.
I did see, in answer to your question, Diane, I did see something on Kootenai. Where was it? Hang on, where's Kootenai? It is
I don't know
mentioned.
that I clicked into Kootenai to see if they had anything.
Here it is. Here it is. Hang on. It's the second screenshot that you had. Just a minute. Open a new tab. Kootenai. There it is. It's above later. So, oops, hang on. There. So
Sherry?
I am sharing it. See Kootenai.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So Kootenai County Sheriff's Office, Kootenai County Prosecuting Attorney. So, yeah. Okay. Now, did you mention something about are there judges on this list? But not
No,
Judge.
I did not see any judges on it.
Okay.
The only
Okay.
thing
Because
was just
how can they withhold information? Because I suppose they can't really.
no, I don't
No.
believe. But I was
Yeah, it
just
doesn't really make any sense. Yeah.
somebody did ask me. I mean, I tried to find the officers and everything that because I know Tolson is on there, and I looked to find officers, but the only, like I said, the only specific person where things should have popped up and didn't pop up, the only specific person I was able to find was, yes, our prosecutor, Santa. But that didn't occur till 23. So, and there was a lot of evidence in that case. It's on the site. There are pictures of the abuse. It was the child that was abused, and it was the wife that was abused in every type of way, from physical, financial, sexual, everything. And you can see all the evidence that he ignored and refused to prosecute.
Okay. So this is thank you because yeah, Bill Thompson is featured on there. There's Audrey. So is it the thing? I think that not Bill Thompson, Judge knows about all this. Judge knows that these prosecutors and that MPD, so these law enforcement officers, that they're dirty, right? That they get up to this kind of stuff, that they withhold evidence, and that Ann Taylor is smart. That this is a very, very good defense team, and they're onto it, and they have been documenting this stuff, and that Judge needs to get the hell out of there, and he's been planning his escape route, and that this is it.
I would have.
That's why I think this is been planned by him for a while. He's been thinking of a way to get out of this for a while, and this is no coincidence at all that he is.
It surprised me because he acted so buddy with the prosecutor. It actually surprised me. I was wondering how he was so comfortable with everything, but I think he had to. He had to have been planning it.
Yeah. Well, that was earlier though, wasn't it?
When he was acting all buddy with him?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
things have kind of changed a little bit in the last sort of, I don't know, how long's it been? Just in the last few months, I feel like there's been a little bit of a shift of dynamic. Like I feel like even the commentators are saying so, and I mean the mainstream commentators. And I was going to have a look now, actually, at Vinnie Politan talking, because he is all like, oh, the defense wins again. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And Steve Goncalves and I was going to have a little bit of a chat about him too. It's up to you if you'd like to stay, Heather. You can or you're not. It's up to you. But I'm going to have a bit of a look at them too, because they're all like, oh, Judge is so biased. He's so biased in favor of the defense. Well, no, I can see why you think that, because he's ruled in favor of defense a couple of times recently, right? But he actually looked like he was more prosecution minded for a long time. It's only been a little bit recently that he started to shift more to the middle, not really so pro-defense, but a little bit less biased. And maybe it's because he sees that actually you guys are being a little bit dirty. You're playing a bit dirty, guys, and I'm going to be getting out of here pretty soon. Yeah, thank you, darling. No, that's all. It's cool.
Okay,
and thank you so much for that.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. All right.
I'm gonna
So,
leave
yeah,
studio, not end stream.
do not end the stream. Do not. He has this habit of ending streams when he leaves.
I've
It's
only
really
done
bad.
it once, twice.
Yeah. Once,
Leave
twice.
studio. I'm just gonna hit the X.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. So I wanted to just look at the Gonclaves, because seriously, I don't know that much about them, and it's hard to not feel like just terrible for them. You have to feel terrible for them, like you can't not, right? But the thing is that, sorry guys, but you're getting in the way of judicial process. This is not helping. The stuff that you've been doing is not helping everybody. So it's just really sad to watch the way that they're interfering with the process of the trial. And if I were one of the family of the other parents, I just don't know. I feel like I would want to tell them to please be quiet and let things just happen. I don't know. What do you think, Heather?
Oh, about I'm sorry, I was typing back in stream about the Gonzalez family. Were you saying, and about him trying to leave? I missed that last part. I was trying to type back to Dolly. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's okay. I was just saying that with the Gonclaves family, I haven't kept up that much with their commentary. All I know is that they're very much in the public eye. They very much are trying to play a part in the process, in the judicial process, I suppose. And I
They
think it's
are.
doing them more harm than good, to be honest.
It's definitely doing them more harm than good. People are getting suspicious of them. But the one thing I watched AR Hayes, and he gave me a second thought because everybody's jumping up and, hey, I think a change of venue is exactly what we needed. And I'm excited. And you just showed that. I'm so glad you showed that because I didn't realize that it was for sure him that was stepping down. So we know it's not going to be assigned back to him. It's not going to be have to not be accepted. But AR said something about like we don't know what judge he's going to end up getting assigned to, and it could be more secretive. It could be. I'm praying with all the stuff that I found. I don't know if AR knows that, but have you noticed the Gonclaves, they seem so happy about it,
They
about it being
are.
taken away from Judge, and that does concern me a little bit. And what do they know about? It just makes me nervous about what they know or what they've been told. I'm glad the
Oh,
venue's changed. Obviously, we need it, but what are they so happy about?
well, that's interesting, and we're about to look at their posts now. So let's have a look. Hang on. Where is the?
They say they're happy because they felt that he was pro defense, which I wouldn't
Oh,
necessarily say
yes,
they were pro.
exactly. That's what brought me on to that topic, because we were just talking about whether or not he's pro defense. Okay, so we'll read it from here. I hate Facebook's layout so much. Okay. We'll read it from not the long road ahead. Now, by the way, this is a paid page. So you can pay money to be a subscriber to this page, which in itself I find kind of strange. Yeah. All right.
Now, I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you can pay money.
Heather,
Anyway.
yes, I just didn't know you could pay to be a subscriber.
Yeah, you can pay to be a subscriber. It's $1.49 a month or something, or a week. I don't know, something like that. Yeah. Alrighty, Gonclaves family statement. The family is incredibly disappointed in the judge's ruling granting change of venue. The only good thing about this decision is it will be Judge's last decision in this case. Well, not necessarily, because if it doesn't get assigned to a new judge immediately, then no, he could make more decisions. So it's wheels of justice still go on. The family has always felt that Judge favored the defense, and it was a common theme that whatever the defense wanted or needed, they got. The written decision is even more informative. If the judge knew LATAH County could not handle this trial for safety reasons, not enough clerks, logistics, and lacking space, why did we waste over a year in a county he knew was not going to handle the trial? Okay. The points he mentioned didn't all of a sudden jump up and bite him in the rear. Another issue was the poor cross-examination by the state defense witnesses. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. Right, so he did spend a fair bit of time in his written order talking about the fact that LATAH County is very small in terms of the actual courthouse itself, that there aren't enough staff there, that it's an actual physically small courthouse. He even said, get this guys, he even said that the door of the jury room is not soundproof. Get that. Andrea Burkhardt actually said in a tweet yesterday, how bad is that? There have actually been previous trials there, people. The door to the jury room is not soundproof.
Yeah, that courthouse was never okay to host this trial. It's not.
What? It's not okay to host any trial if the door to the jury room is not soundproof. What the hell?
Yeah.
So you're saying that the jury can hear what's going on outside, and the lawyers are making arguments and stuff, and they can hear what's happening? What's going on there? Does that mean that everyone is going to be appealing now their previous convictions that have happened in that courthouse? They should.
Well,
That just blows my mind. I can't believe that.
but what's the last murder case or any serious case like they had to do? They don't have murders there. Excuse me. They don't have unalivings there.
You can say that's all right. Yeah,
Sorry.
it's
Yeah,
fine.
but I mean, the last time they had anything like this was what, like 8 years ago, they say. So,
Every case is important, though. I mean, and you're right, Melissa Simmock. Others can hear the jury deliberations.
they can
What's
hear
going
anything.
on? This is stupid. So, okay, so they clearly need a new courthouse, big time. Yeah, okay. So who's this? What? Hey, Mavka. Tom blocked me, and I couldn't have him in my top 8. Who's Tom? Who are you talking about? What did you do, Mavka? Anyway, so yeah, I want to know, with this argument they're making here, that apparently if Judge knew all along that this courthouse couldn't handle it, why didn't he do something about it? Well, here's my problem with that. Last year, in 2023, no one asked him. No one put forward a motion for change of venue until early this year, so it was January 2024. Now, he could have made the ruling then, and he probably should have made the ruling then. I don't know
Thompson
why
said
he
it was
didn't make the
premature.
ruling then. Yeah,
Thompson said it
well,
was premature.
Thompson said it was premature. Of course he's going to say that, right? Because
Yeah.
he doesn't want to move it. All right, but last year, no one made any motion for that. Would it be right for him to just stand up and go, you know what, it's too small here. I reckon we should move it. How do you think that would have gone down with the locals then? If he would have just out of nowhere go, you know what, I reckon we should move it.
They would have gone crazy.
They would have gone berserk, right? They wouldn't have cared if he would have put forth all these arguments and gone, it's too small, there's not enough clerks, the jury room is, not soundproof. They would have gone, fix it. Yeah? So, come on now. That's a really dumb argument. Okay, so another issue was the poor cross-examination by the state of the defense expert witnesses. A judge can only rely on the evidence presented, and when you don't properly cross-examine expert witnesses or present any of your own, you are left relying on the opinions of the defense. Well, you know what? That's on the prosecution, and
Like, I love
they
that part.
I love that part. So now you're actually having a go at the prosecution? Good. So you should. Finally, you're starting to point the finger at the right people.
Exactly.
Finally, you're actually starting to, and I wish you'd start to see that the reason that they are being so lazy, the reason why they're doing a bad job is because they got nothing.
Exactly. I don't understand why there are certain YouTubers that get up and they say, well, he didn't argue because they're not worried about it. They're not worried about it. They just have such a strong case. They're not worried about it. It's,
Yeah, and also Bill Thompson is the expert on everything, by the way. He doesn't need expert witnesses. He just writes his responses on his own. That's what he did with the response to the change of venue. He just wrote that whole response on his own. There were 3 expert witnesses, and he just responded to all the experts himself.
so. And then actually, when he admitted that they did turn over the data that he said was missing, that took out his arguments. That took out his entire legal argument. And then he said he was sticking with it. So he literally had no legal argument left. Once he retracted that, he had no legal standing left when he said he was
Yep.
sticking with what they believe. So
Yo.
that blew my mind.
Heather, if you need to go out for dinner, you're more than welcome. You have
Yes, I'm about to listen to the rest. Thank you for having me up here,
no
but I'm going
worries.
to
Thank
continue to
you.
listen. And
Cool.
I'm definitely holding you to listening to the rest of what your theory is.
Lovely. Thank you so much. You have a great night.
Thank you.
See you. Bye. Have to have you again.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Alrighty. Okay. So I'll just finish this. Okay, so finally, sorry, we're up to then. Let's not forget the massive oh, there we go. You're left relying on opinion to the defense. Then let's not forget the massive contradiction of having a University of Idaho employee as an expert witness, Eliza Cover, and at the same time allowing Scott Green, the University of Idaho president, to write a book claiming to be an integral part of the investigation. Guys, people who know this area better, can you please explain this to me? I don't understand. Why can't there be an expert from the University of Idaho? Or an employee? Why? Why is that a problem? Just because the University of Idaho lost 4 students, they can't have someone who was an employee there or the president be part of it? Can they not be unbiased? Is that what you're saying? That they can't be unbiased, Mr. Goncalves? Is that it? Because on the other hand, you guys have also done your own surveys and found out that, well, you say that people can be unbiased in LATAH County. You're sure they can, right? Regardless of whether they know things about the case. So you said that it might appear, okay, Bob, it might appear as a conflict of interest. That's interesting. It might appear as a conflict of interest. Okay. Well, I wonder whether just knowing somebody in the community might appear as a conflict of interest in being a juror. I just find this statement really interesting. It's just like, well, the University of Idaho is a big university, and just because you're part of the university in some way, why can't you be unbiased? Maybe I'm not seeing the wood from the trees on that one. Yeah. Just his opinion. Everyone has ties. Everyone does have ties, Diane. Everyone does have ties. Finally, what was the point of the non-dissemination order, private hearings, closed-door tactics, allowing the defendant to be dressed in a suit? Oh, God. This whole thing about being dressed in a suit for every televised hearing, etc., if not to keep the trial in LATAH County. Oh, they are so into this whole dressed in a suit thing. As victims' families, you are left to just watch like everyone else, and really you have little rights or say in the process, and at the same time, you're the most vested in the outcome. You're the most vested in the outcome? What? Okay, I think there might be someone a little bit more vested in the outcome than you. I'm so sorry to sound like I don't care about victims here, but there's someone more vested in the outcome than you, Steve Goncalves, and his name's Bryan C Kohberger. Okay, because his life is on the line here. He's the one who's most vested in the outcome. Wow. Wow. We have always felt that a fair and impartial jury could be found in LATAH County, and still believe that is where the trial deserves to be held, to help the community heal. Look, guys, that's what the vigils and all that kind of stuff is for. That's to help the community heal. The trial is not, it's not yours. It's just not yours. Yeah, where are the rest of the parents? This just makes me so sad. And not in the way it should. Not in the way it should make... When I read their posts, I should feel sad for them. Like I should feel sympathy for them. And I do. But I hate that I feel so angry at them. I really hate that it's bringing out that feeling in me. Because I'm so conflicted. I'm so conflicted on my feelings for these people. Like, yeah. I want to feel sorry for them, and I do feel sorry for them. But then I'm like, how can you say that? Like, yeah. That they are the most vested in the outcome. He could be put to death. How can you say that? That's not right. Wow. I dislike them because they are going against justice for all. Of course they are. And the fact that the other families are being like, just, they're having so much integrity to just stay out of it. He's the one telling people they can't connect Bryan, so how did they decide it's him for sure? SAG used to be open. Who's SAG? SAG. Oh, SG, sorry, right. SG used to be open. Yep, okay. So, the good news is there is no venue anywhere in the nation that is untouched by this story. Justice will prevail. San Diego, CA here. We see you. Okay, and this is part of the problem. They don't understand what that data meant. They don't understand what the survey by Dr. Edelman really meant. In fact, they went and did their own survey because, you know, they're market analysts, right? Because they're trained in that. They think they can go and like make a survey and send it out to a bunch of people and like do their own research, because it's kind of like, you know, like people who think that they can go pro se and be lawyers and do a really good job of it. Yeah. And it's insulting to people who spend their life like learning how to do proper market research and come back with results. But they did their own research and they're sure that they can have an impartial jury in LATAH because people said so. And the reason why they continue to think so is because people like this say stuff like, there's no venue anywhere in the nation that's untouched by this story. Well, it's not just about hearing about something. I'm in Australia. I've heard all about it, right? Doesn't mean that I'm going to see one of the jurors down at my local shops. I'm not, because I'm not connected to this community. You in San Diego, Julie Ullery, you're not connected to the community. That's what it's about. It's about connectivity or connectedness or whatever they call it. I can't remember what the actual words, but this connection that you have when you live in the community. Yes, Heather, he knew more than them. He knew more than them. All right. Now, the other little post I just wanted to look at from them is this. No, that's not it. It's the one before. Oh, by the way, they go on the Chris McDonough show, and Chris McDonough, he's that dude who goes on Nancy Grace. That tells you a lot about it. The other day, before the actual ruling came out, God, this drove me nuts. So, before, this was on the weekend. Guys, this is on the weekend. So before the court's ruling came out on the website, on the weekend, they received notice from the Supreme Court because they are victims, and so they're on a list of a few special people who received notice before everybody else, right? And what did they do? They went and blabbed to, I think it was JLR. So JLR Investigates, you know him, and a couple of other people who are on their good books. And it was Friday, 6 p.m. their time, Diane, yeah. And they let a little bit of information out, not very much, just enough to support their narrative about the change of venue. And Forensic Frenzy, that's right. I find the name of that channel very funny because it's a frenzy. Watch this, Mapka. I've talked about Bryan and Sarah Boone to my co-workers and literally none of them have heard of either, nor Karen Reid. Yeah, and I believe that. A lot of people just don't follow these things. I don't understand why ex-police officers on YT aren't coming out and saying this story makes no sense. Ex-police officers. Yeah. Why? Because A, they probably don't follow it. Like Mavka was saying, they just probably aren't switched into the case, and you really need to be following it for a while to get all the ins and outs of it. But B, they probably don't want to badmouth their profession. Okay, so this post is going to be a long road ahead. My patience is running thin. I can't keep putting up with this. On another note, if this Georgia shooter hadn't learned about BK receiving fan mail, fresh haircuts, vegan meals, and custom-tailored business suits, not to mention the fan club of girls declaring their love, he might never have committed this crime. Yet, BK's privileges continue to grow. Do they? Okay. Our world is full of young, angry individuals who feel ignored. Wake up, Judge. Your decisions carry real consequences across society. Right. Yep. Reading today that the defense stated the death penalty and means of death in Idaho are inhumane made me so disgusted. What an asinine argument for a man that did what he did and how he did it. I know, innocent until guilty. However, in 2 years, not 1 ounce of evidence to suggest another. This man never asked for bail, didn't give an alibi for a year. All things innocent folks actually do. Okay, I think he is enjoying every minute of the attention. And yes, he absolutely never looked better. Pretty hair, pretty suits. Sure doesn't appear as a man that's having a rough time adjusting to jail. We immensely enjoy seeing him after a year in a prison instead of a single-room country club. I agree above. Get Trump screaming about this. That man too knows the frustrations of our joke legal system. Peace and love. You all got this. I live in the tiniest town in upstate New York, and trust me, no change of venue will affect this guy's guilt. The entire world is with you all. A couple of 100 Idaho miles will be insignificant. Pray, pray, pray. Do you like that? See, Dahlia, I'm doing all right without you. Ah, dear. So, moving on. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, moving on. So, Brian Anton, who is not my favorite person, by the way, I don't like him very much. Don't like him very much. He spoke to them. Here, let's just have a quick look.
You know this area well. You've been in court today too, listening to the defense's arguments. Do you think they could find a fair jury here?
We know they can, and we've actually asked and done interviews ourselves, and they have to find 12 people plus some people on the side, you know, some substitutes. But yeah, they can find 12 people that have made their mind up.
That's not hard. That's not that hard.
Would you prefer the trial to stay here or to go to a place like Boise?
Of course, we'd rather it stay in LATAH.
Yeah.
Just out of convenience sake and out of the fact that this is where it happened, this is where it deserves to be tried.
You're talking another 12 hours of travel. We wouldn't be able to go home at the same day. Now you're staying overnight. And like you said, this is the community that was, you know, this
victimized.
person. They victimized them, and the justice deserves to be felt local, and they have a hand in it.
You know this area well. You've been in court today too, listening to the defense's arguments. Do you think they could find a fair jury here?
We know they can, and we've actually asked and done interviews ourselves, and they have to find.
Again. Okay, and moving on. just so we get the full picture, because that was when they were doing the surveys. Sorry to show you more Brian Enton, but I have to give you the full picture. Sorry, it's only a little bit.
County, which is Boise. We don't know for sure. It's going to be up to the Supreme Court, Ashley, of Idaho. They're the ones who will have to make the decision. But the judge pretty much laid out that in Moscow, Idaho, LATAH County, where we've seen all the courtroom video from, it's very, very small. I've been there countless times. It's a small courtroom. You see the same couple of deputies every single time. There are very, very few deputies that work for the sheriff's office. There's only a couple of county clerks. And it's just not manageable, the judge says, for them to be able to handle a trial of this magnitude. So Ada County, Boise, Idaho, we had the Lori Vallow trial there. You remember, I've spent weeks and weeks and weeks there. It's a big
Okay, I had someone get on my ex today and go, he won't be found not guilty just because he's moved to Boise. Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell were both found guilty in Boise. That's not going to make any difference. And I'm like, but they had dead children in their backyard. It's kind of different. So Boise can't really change that. Sorry. Yeah. So, like, it's not really apples for apples, man.
Judicial complex. It's a big courtroom. There's plenty of space. They've got the secret underground entrance for the jurors. It seems like that could make a lot of sense based on the ruling.
Well, that all sounds great, except if you're the family members of the victims who, want to be there, understand.
Okay, David, you're a lawyer, and David says, I don't get it. Can't the Supreme Court of the United States just decide that Brian is innocent and let him go? You tell us, can't they? Oh, stop it. You're trying to do a secret entrance. You've already been here before. You need to come in with a different avatar. You've got like 20. Why did you come in with that one? It says Lego Law, Life and Libations. You need to come in with your shipping one or something. Come in again. Yeah, it's not a secret entrance if you tell everyone about it, dumbass. Don't call me dumbass. Jesus Christ.
They want to stare Bryan Kohberger in the eye all through these proceedings, but it's like 6 hours away. If you go to Ada County down in Boise, it's like 6 hours away from, I think they're in Kootenai County, which is way up north. Were they consulted? Yeah. Did that weigh in at all to this? Look at that map. There's LATAH right up there, and Kootenai's even higher. It's a long drive.
Get a helicopter.
Yeah, it's far, and that's one of the big issues here, and you feel for the families, because it's a 3-month trial, they think, Ashley. 3 months. Imagine having to uproot your life. They have to rent a house. They have to be there for 3 months if they want to be there for the whole thing. So it's a long drive. They're very disappointed that the trial is being moved. There's going to be a new judge, which I found to be a bombshell. I wasn't expecting it. The judge also said he wants off the case. That is something that the family is actually happy about. They were not pleased with the judge. They also said today in a new statement, Cya Goncalves' family, that they haven't exactly been pleased with the prosecution. They feel like they haven't been fighting hard enough. They didn't fight this change of venue argument hard enough. They didn't fight hard enough to keep it in Moscow, Idaho. I spoke to the Goncalves parents and also to their attorney just a short time ago. I want to play you a little bit of that, Ashley.
Oh no, here we go.
You said, you got to be more aggressive. You guys have to be more aggressive, and they push back at us. And here we are, two months away from.
Okay. So this dude at top left, that is their attorney, right? Now you tell me, does he look like he just got out of the shower? To me, this dude always looks like he just got out of the shower. His name's Shannon, by the way, which I get it. I suppose it can be a both male and female name. To me, it's more of a female name. But it's an Australian. I'm an Australian, and here we generally have Shannons that are female. But he looks a little bit less like he just got out of the shower today. But I should take you back through other interviews that he is in. Once he legit looked like his whole head was all wet all over. Like, maybe he's a big sweater or something, I don't know, but he just generally looks like he didn't bother at all. Like, he's just like dripping. All right, anyway. And this dude needs to just tell these people to please be quiet. He's causing... They're going to be... They could actually be in contempt of court. These people. The things that they say about... Like, at one point, you saw it in my intro. She said that this man's been convicted. This man... What is he, convicted? In fact, the News Nation should never have aired that. That was on them, I think. Anyway, let's keep going.
Years and they're resetting. So we were right. We told them they needed to be a little more aggressive, maybe a lot more aggressive, somewhere in the middle. And here we are today, and we were right. But we can course correct. We can get this fixed. We can get the right guy in the right chair, and we can go from there.
This isn't the end. This isn't the end of the road. This is not over. This isn't because I take it to heart. Like, that's a win for them, and it's like tick for tack. But, other people in the family have different mentality than that. And, they say, Mom, you got to look at the bigger picture. You can't, it's not tick for tack. It's not tick for tack.
So you can imagine, Ashley, how difficult it's been for them and for the other victims' family members to think that now there's going to be a whole new venue. They don't know where it is. And on top of that, there's going to be a whole new judge.
Okay, Jen, I have this other question because last week we were talking about 13 filings that his defense attorneys put forth to Judge John Judge, who's still presumably hanging on until a new judge is appointed. But what do we know about those filings? They want the death penalty off the table, and they suggested all sorts of things, from it's unconstitutional to, the cruel and unusual punishment, etc. Where does that stand?
Well, we don't really know if Judge Judge is hanging on. I've been trying to figure it out. I was talking to Shannon Gray, the Goncalves' attorney. All right,
so clearly you haven't actually read the order and looked up the Idaho criminal ruling. So this just goes to show you how fact-driven News Nation is and how much Bryan Enton knows. It doesn't take that much to look it up. I'm geo-blocked and I looked it up, right? I found a way to find out. It's not very difficult. Yet Bryan Enton is like, oh, we don't really know if Judge Judge is going to hang on or not. Judge Judge went and chose the B. Where is it? If I still got it up or not. He went and chose conclusion on the order. Yep, share this tab instead. Yeah, he went and chose Idaho Criminal Rule 21C2B. And 21C2B, as we went and looked at the beginning of the stream, is the one where the judge doesn't desire to remain on the presiding over the case. That's B. A is if he does want to stay. B is when he doesn't. It's really simple. So easy. So easy. So, and it's the same. Actually, Court TV said that as well. Court TV also didn't look up 2B.
Thought here, and it could happen that he's just done already, that the Supreme Court's going to decide, hopefully quickly, who the new judge will be, where this will move to, and the new judge will take over right away. And you mentioned this argument right now over the death penalty. The defense is trying to get it thrown out. Yeah, prosecution has to weigh in. There is a hearing set for November on that, Ashley, which is a big hearing. We all assumed that it was going to be in Moscow, Idaho. likely not going to be in Moscow anymore, not going to be in front of Judge. So is this going to delay things? Will that hearing still happen in November? Where will the hearing be? I mean, you can understand the frustration with the families not really knowing.
Yeah. I also heard Mrs. Goncalves say something about they're going to get some new help in the chair, and I'm not sure if she was referring to whatever new county comes along is going to help out with prosecution. I don't assume that's the case. I assume these prosecutors will move to a different county, period.
Yeah, it's going to be the same prosecution, okay? It's the LATAH County prosecutors, and then they've got the help of the state attorney general's office. What she's talking about in the chair, when she says we're going to get someone new in the chair, she's talking about the judge.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven,
unbiased, fact-driven, my ass. Yeah, looking up the codes is mandatory. Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. Like, I can't look up the codes. I can't look up, like, the Brady list website like we had a minute ago. But I do have my awesome friend, Dali Talk, Salvador Dali, who not only helps with that, but he helps me with FOIA requests and all that other kind of stuff. So I love him. He's amazing. I have an awesome co-host. Yes. Banfield needs him. Banfield needs more help than that. All right. So I'm going to be finishing up really soon. But what I did want to get to my actual theory, and this is, I've been alluding to it throughout the episode. Here's the deal, guys. I've been thinking that this is going to happen for quite a while, but there's more and more evidence leading to it. I know for a fact that Cya knows, well, I say I know for a fact, I believe, all the evidence points to it, that Cya knows where that phone was, right? He knows where that phone was between 2 and 4 a.m. He came along and he said he was going to be the expert witness for cellular forensics for the defense for the very first time in his career. Now, this is around April this year when the alibi document came out. Now, everyone made fun of the alibi document, especially the likes of Julie Grant on Court TV. I did a stream about it at the time, the alibi stream. She was all like, oh, he was stargazing. Who goes stargazing? Lots and lots of people thought that was hilarious, but they were looking at the wrong part of that document. At the end of that document, some very strong wording was used by Ann Taylor. It said that we compel the state to provide the data and some cast data. It was actually provided, it should be provided by the FBI. It doesn't matter though, it comes via the state. And it was referenced in the PCA. It is cellular data, so it will help to isolate where that phone was between 2 and 4 a.m., which is the time, allegedly, of the crime. Now, Cya is the man who pretty much wrote the book on how to track a phone down to the centimeter, not centimeter, the meter or 3 meters or so of where it can be at any point in time. And it's not just about pings. So pings can only get your phone down to triangulation, so only to the vicinity of. As we have already heard, the state has gone back on what they said in the PCA and said, that phone wasn't, outside of King Road, it wasn't nearby to King Road, it was just in the vicinity of King Road. Well, that's a little bit too late. But they also said in the PCA that the phone was not responding to the cellular network between 2 and 4 a.m. Cya has some information about where it was between 2 and 4 a.m. And he says that if the state comes forth with anything else to show that it wasn't where he thinks it is, 40 miles to the west between 2 and 4 a.m., he might change his mind about that. But he's got something, guys. He's got something up his sleeve, and Ann Taylor has seen it. Eliza Mathoff has seen it. I can't say her second name. The defense has seen it, and he is the expert. He's a preeminent expert in the country. He trains the feds. He trains the cops. He knows what he's talking about, and they have him on their side. He's a get. Right? He knows that that phone was 40 miles to the west at Hawaii Park. He knows. Right? There's other ways to find out where a phone is. Phones are constantly trying to connect to the network for all sorts of reasons. They're pinging, pinging is the wrong word, but they're looking for connections to things like SoundCloud, to things like your Google apps, anything that is signed in via Google, and you can do a Google warrant, for example. Your phone's constantly looking to connect, and there's ways to track where that phone is. And if there's anyone who can do it, it's Cy Ray. It's so interesting. So that's why, and I'm sure of it, that's why around that time, Ann Taylor and Eliza Mathoff came along and said, our client is innocent. He's innocent, Judge. Right? And we believe it strongly. Now, let's think about it this way. He was studying criminology, and his specialty was cloud-based forensics. Assuming this, that when he was arrested, he knew full well he didn't do it. Okay, so he knew full well he didn't do it. He thought, okay, I didn't do it. I don't really remember what I was doing 8 weeks ago, but I do know that I bring my phone with me everywhere. Most 20-somethings-year-old do. Most of us all do. Right? And I also know from my work in studying cloud-based forensics that it's not possible for me to bring my phone somewhere and for there to not be some evidence of where I was. Something. Even if I was out in the middle of nowhere, there's some evidence of me being not where that stabbing was. Right? There's definitely some evidence. So, you know what? Have my phone. There'll be something on there to show it. I reckon that's what he did. What he didn't anticipate is them taking that information and hiding it. Yeah? So, what I think's happened is exactly that. They've taken that information and they've only used the bits of it that put him kind of near the crime scene. And when I say near, I mean in the vicinity of the crime scene. And then they've hidden the part that puts him 40 miles to the west at the time of the crime by their timeline. And Ann Taylor, Eliza, they know it. Now that's the part that proves that he is innocent. The other thing I want to talk about for a second is the fact that there is prosecutorial misconduct going on, and Ann Taylor knows it, and she's been documenting it. She's been documenting it in detail. You can see it. It's up on that Idaho site. There's so many documents that show that she has asked for all of this information so many times. There's also definitely some proof there to show that they have gone and found his DNA via unscrupulous methods. So they did not gain his genealogy via anything other than some sort of database that they should not have. So it was 23andMe or it's Ancestry.com. It's fruit of the poisonous tree, and that has not been handed over. So there's a bunch of different things that have occurred, and they're not. They're nothing small. These are things that are exculpatory, right? So the DNA shit is wild. Yes, Cy Ray does have a YouTube channel. There's so many things that could cause Bill Thompson and his team to all face charges. There could be sanctions. There could be Brady violations. All these things add up. And you know what? The discovery deadline has passed and Judge has scampered on out of there. We are looking at a motion to dismiss very soon. We're also looking at, definitely, we're looking at these people, the Moscow Police Department, we're looking at Bill Thompson, we're looking at all of the people who have been involved in the prosecution of this man. Absolutely, we're looking at them facing charges or facing ethical complaints, bar complaints. That's my theory. I know it's pretty wild and it sounds a bit hopeful. I think that she could go a bit further. She could make a complaint about Judge allowing all this to go on for so long. She could make complaints about the feds withholding information too. I don't think she will go that far. I think she'll do whatever is necessary just to get Bryan out on the street, done. I think that's her main goal because he's innocent and she knows it. I don't think this is going to trial. I think this will be over in the next few months. That is my theory. So I'll just take a few comments. Excited, say either or either. You can say it either way. Why? How would you say it? Probably either or either. He teaches a lot on his YC page about this stuff. Are we talking about Cya? I am such a Cya fan. When I say that, I just think his qualifications are impeccable. And he has only an associate degree, so not his tertiary qualifications. In fact, he had he was rejected as an expert witness in Colorado, and he talks about this a fair bit because he only has an associate's degree, which was hilarious considering if you listen to him talk about his background, it's wild how much he knows about cell phone tracking. He is absolutely probably the world specialist, but definitely the US preeminent specialist on it. He has the database and he's been building the database for a very long time. Nowadays, digital footprint is a good alibi, and when there is this kind of probable cause that has actual supportive information. Yes, correct. And he's been very clever, Joanna T, and thanks for being here. He's been very clever, Cya, when he came up and testified at a recent hearing, he said, you know what? I am withholding judgment. So at the moment, from what I've seen in the investigative work that I've done, what I've seen is exculpatory. But if I'm shown something else, I'm going to leave my mind open. So if I'm shown inculpatory evidence that refutes what I've got in front of me, I will change my testimony. So I'm going to put that out there right now. He is testifying for the defense. He's doing it pro bono, by the way. He's doing it pro bono. So it's very interesting. And he actually says also, he's never, ever done any expert witness work for the defense before. He was a cop to start off with, and he does regular work for government agencies, training them in how to use CAST software, CAST-Viz software, and his own software, which is called TRAX, T-R-A-X. If you followed the Daybell trial or the Karen Reed trial, you would have seen a lot of those maps with the cell phone spots on it, and a big TRAX logo over the top. That's his software, his proprietary software. I've done a lot of bizarre driving at night. If looked at like the state is looking at Bryan, I once drove an hour away to get out of my car to try to see some space shit, then drove home. Yeah, and imagine, right? Just imagine if he knew that He knew that's the kind of thing he did regularly. And then someone picked him up and said, hey, you're arrested for a quadruple murder. And he would have just been in his head going, what? What? No. Just like, just take this. Like, there'll be something on there. And then to find out, like, however long later, that they've taken the phone and they're just withholding everything that's on it. That's it. They're just withholding it all. And you can't get it back. And there's just no way of getting that information to prove that you're innocent. You have to prove you're innocent. You shouldn't have to prove you're innocent, but you have to prove it. There's no other way. Wow. Yeah, he was a good cop, though. I saw him lose a case 20 years ago. He was not a good cop, though, right? Yeah. Anyway, let me just check that Sean's still going. I'm sure he is. Yeah, he is. All right, we're going to raid Sean. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I'm going to be doing more of these over the next however long, month or two. Tell your friends. I know there's a lot of people streaming on this topic. This one's really important to me. Bryan's innocent. And yeah, I'll try and keep it. Helen never does pro bono. I'll try and keep it a little bit more focused on the next one. Heather, I keep meaning to speak to you about what particular area of the case that you'd like to talk about when you come on. So let's talk about that on the X, on our messages. Hey, Sniffles, how are you? I don't know if I said hello to you yet today. Good vlog. It's a vlog, is it? I'm the little Aussie vlogger. Little Aussie vlogger, Justice. No cat appearances today. They kept me awake all night, I know that. Yes. And what's that? Diane? Oh yeah, Diane. Yes, we will talk, Diane. We will talk. Okay, that's it for today. I have to go, and I'll tell you one little tiny little secret. You know the cat that went missing 6 weeks ago? And no, there's no cat eaters here. I don't think. The cat that went missing 6 weeks ago, I've got a little bit of a lead. It might be a kilometre away. Mimi, the little one. There's a stray a kilometre away. There's some photos of it. I'll post it on the Discord. All right. Not sure if it's her, but I'm going to get a cat trap set up for a couple of days and try and catch this stray. If it's her, amazing. And suddenly we'll have like 3 cats. If it's not, then we'll give it to a rescue and save this cat's life. Right? We'll see. But oh my God, if it's her, imagine. Wow. Yeah, so this is really like, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to catch a stray cat. Oh, yeah, but I haven't told my daughter about it because I don't want to get her hopes up. Imagine if it's her. I know, right? Anyway, thank you everyone, especially new people who are here. I hope you enjoyed it. And that was really interesting also to have you, Heather, on. Thank you. All right, that's it. Time for the song.
Her name was Ella. She was an Aussie. She was a fake lawyer from the future. She got on YouTube and made some live streams. The co-host is Donnie and she dances sometimes. The words are always so loud and because she's an 803. To be citizen, excited you're